In this episode, we're talking about how to reach out to restaurants for collaborations as an influencer, tips for building a fashion brand, and the first steps to becoming a blogger. Hi guys, I'm Brittany from Not Another Blonde, and you're watching Blog with Brit, my YouTube series where I answer all your blogging and business related questions. If you're new to my channel, definitely subscribe. I post new videos every Wednesday that are jam-packed with value for influencers, business owners, and brands. Olivia wants to know what's the best way to reach out to restaurants to get them to cover the cost of a meal or an event that's being catered or, something like that. I would reach out to a restaurant and use the same verbiage that you would use for reaching out to a brand or a company, right? So use the same strategies and techniques that you use for your brand outreach and just apply it to the restaurants. So for example, you might want to say something like, if you're trying to get the meal, the cost of the meal covered, you would say, hey, so-and-so, my name's blah, blah, blah. Say who you are, what you do, how you can help. So that's like your elevator pitch. So include your elevator pitch in there, and maybe put in your media kit, a link to your media kit, or attach your media kit, and then tell them what value you'll bring. So in exchange for this free meal, one appetizer, one dinner, a drink, and a dessert, I will give you XYZ. Will you provide social media coverage on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter? Will you provide deliverables like creative assets, like photographs, videos, whatever, for them to use for promotional purposes? So really think about how you're going to bring them value before saying, hey, I want to eat at your restaurant. I see you just opened up. I love this dessert. Can I get it? So really be strategic and think about what you can bring versus what you can get. I say this all the time. I feel like I sound like a broken record when I say this, but it's in terms of collaborations, just with anyone across the board, you always want to be focused on what you can give, not what you can get. And when you come from that place, you ultimately get more. It's really weird. It's almost like a reverse psychology type thing. Tia wants to know, do you have any tips for new fashion brands? I mean, I have a ton of tips. How much time do you have? No, but tips in terms of what? Collaborating with influencers? I feel like I need more context to this question, but I'm going to assume Tia wants to know about tips for collaborating with influencers as a new fashion brand. Just reach out. This is the same advice that I would give to influencers looking to collaborate with new fashion brands. Literally just reach out. Start flirting with them on social media, start engaging with their content, and then go in for the ask. Send a pitch, acquire their email from their profile or their blog, and send them a pitch hey, hey Brittany, I wanted to know if you'd like to do a collaboration with me. I will send you XYZ and pay you X amount for these deliverables or these assets. Let me know if this works for you. Just send it as a regular pitch. I would suggest, if you want to work with an influencer on a gift exchange basis, I would reach out to influencers with under 10K. Well, first of all, I don't ever recommend doing that. I do, it's fine, but it's also kind of insulting, because from an influencer standpoint, it's not every influencer is like this, but I know for me personally, I put so much time, effort, and energy, and sometimes money into each collaboration that I do and each piece of content that I create. So it's insulting to me for someone to come up to me and say, here's a $15 headband and we want X, Y, and Z, when there's a laundry list of requirements and scope of work is huge. No thanks. That's just insulting, and I will not work with that brand, and I'll actually tell my influencer friends my experience with that brand, because I just don't think it's cool. But if you're a new brand and your budget is limited, I get that. I would maybe throw that in there. Speak from the heart. You're new. say, hey, Brittany, I wanted to know if you wanted to collaborate. I know that like I would love to pay you, but right now I'm a new brand. I don't have the budget. Would you be willing to, you know, post this shirt on Insta stories, like on one Instagram story? Or, you know, you don't even have to do that. Like, just if you like it, share it with your audience. That gives the influencer creative direction and just, you know, puts the ball in their court. And when you're working with an influencer on an exchange basis and you give them that option to like maybe post about it on social, maybe not, like it's up to you. When you give them that control, that makes them more likely to want to post. I've had a few brands that have reached out to me and come from that place for me, and I've wanted to post for them, and I just love it, and I always talk about it because I think it's just really nice and something rare that doesn't happen that often. When brands do come to me from this place, I have empathy and compassion, and I understand, and I'm more than willing to like share their brand on an Instagram story. Like, that doesn't require a whole lot of thought or effort on my end. So I'm happy to do that for them. And I appreciate them giving me the option to post about it or not to post about it. And it's such a rare thing for brands to approach influencers from that perspective that like I love it, and I immediately want to post and like talk about this brand. If I like the brand, I immediately want to post and talk about the brand and like shout it from the rooftops because I just love how things were handled. Like, I love the influencer brand relationship that I've established with the new brand. In addition to that, if you do have a budget, I would always suggest paying them. I know, like, the thing is, it's like a tug of war with brands and influencers, right? Like, the influencer wants to get paid a lot and the brand doesn't want to pay a lot. So it's like a constant struggle. But when the brand understands the influencer's value, they should be more willing to invest in that influencer. And when the influencer understands the brand's budget, the influencer should be willing to deliver what the brand is asking for. So to kind of meet in the middle, like, both parties have to come to an understanding. You have the budget, you should invest in the influencer. Like, there is no higher ROI from any form of marketing than you get with influencer marketing. Like, influencer marketing is the #1 way to drive sales to your brand. So if you're, you know, spending a couple $100 here and there, or even like a couple $1,000 here and there, you will get that back tenfold through influencer marketing. Like, you know, it depends on your strategy, of course, but you should see that back. So to kind of recap, because I know that was a lot and like information overload, I recommend, if you're going to collaborate with an influencer on an exchange basis, make sure that it is an even exchange and there are no expectations involved. If you are collaborating with an influencer when there is a budget involved, make sure that budget is fair, and make sure that everyone's on the same page in terms of what's going to happen with the collaboration. B. Rochelle wants to know, what are the first steps to becoming a blogger? This is a very interesting question, and like, it makes me giggle because like my entire blog, the first steps to becoming a blogger, read my entire blog. Go to www.notanotherblood.com and it will take you from start to finish for how to be a blogger, create a blog, grow your brand, grow your business. It's all right there. The next step, if you want to take it a step further and like really elevate your blog and your brand, get the blogger blueprint, which the link is in the description. The waitlist is in the description. I can't stress it enough. Like, I know I'm plugging this thing a lot, but like, I'm telling you, it will change your life. It is a game changer. The reason I created it was because I didn't have access to these tools myself, and it took me 8 years to get to where I am today. So I wanted to create something that will, you know, kind of be a fast track to get to that next level and to just, you know, cut through the BS and the fluff and just like get to the good stuff. So the blogger blueprint is all the good stuff. So first step, read my entire blog. Second step, get the blogger blueprint. Third step, like, okay, so let's say you don't want to do any of those things and you want me to just answer this like right now, which is pretty impossible to do, but I will say that the first step to becoming a blogger is to just create and document content. Like, there's a difference between creating content and documenting content. Creating content I would save for things that are going to live on your social media and your blog for a long time. Blog posts need to be created. Instagram posts need to be created. Twitter posts need to be created. Pinterest, YouTube, Facebook, all of those posts need to be created because it's going to live there for a long time. In terms of documenting content, because there is a difference, documenting content is when you're just kind of like storytelling and documenting your day or an event, or just taking readers, your audience, your followers through a step-by-step process of what your day or your life entails, right? So we do this on Insta stories, we do this on Facebook stories, we do this on Snapchat. These are things that expire within a certain period of time. So I think all of those things expire within 24 hours. So that's like the best place to document content. And, you know, it's just kind of a little more raw and unfiltered and just candid, which people love. They love that behind the scenes. So, you know, if you don't want to read my blog, if you don't want to download the Blogger Blueprint or take the Blogger Blueprint course, then my next piece of advice would be to just create content. Like, you just have to start putting stuff out there, and the followers, your niche, your brand, it will all come with time. It's like an evolution. It's a never-ending evolution. Like, we as an influencer or blogger, we're never done growing or evolving because we're getting older, we're having babies, we're getting married. So when all of those things come into our lives are changing, our strategies are changing. And like, with that, social media, new social media platforms are being introduced, like TikTok. TikTok is relatively new. And so, you know, you have to be willing to adjust, but if you're just creating content, like, consistently, you are on your way to becoming a blogger. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If it brought you value, give it a thumbs up. If you have a question that you would like answered on the next Blog with Britt, comment below, let me know. And just any general feedback, like, how's my sound? How's the video? How are my hands? I know that some people are like, you use your hands too much. Like, let me know your feedback and I'll try to work on it and incorporate it into my next video. So comment below, let me know your feedback, like the video if it brought you value, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And I'll catch you next time.